Welcome back. On Urban Reality, we're taking stock of India's smart city mission, outlined to make 109 urban centers of the country far more livable than they are currently. Okay, gentlemen, we have had a little bit of euphoria, a little bit of statistics which show that, look, the kickoff of this mission has been very decent. Let's not take away that because, frankly, Shailesh, I didn't even have an expectation that 59 out of 60 cities will have their SPV in place. But my big question to you is that the governance, the constitution of the board, transparency, and the financial gap, how are those things going to be taken care of? Are they still a cause of worry? And like Karuna said, also, let's say, require a very, very serious midterm review.
So, Manisha, I'll quickly say three things. Number one, we in India love to say that India can't do this, right? We need foreign people to come and do this. Nonsense. When the NHAI started, Tavleen Singh went on record as saying that the Golden Quadrilateral is a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. So I see a lot of people who said this about the Smart Cities mission 3 years ago, now acknowledging that some things are happening on the ground. Number two, the action is not in Delhi. The action is in the states and the action is in the cities, which is why empowered SPVs with the right staffing are the most crucial part of the next 3 years that's going to see the implementation. Number three, financing is not the problem. Finance follows politics. We as financiers will always lend to people who have good politics. So in a sense, the SPV is an effort to create the right politics of the city, the right incentives. And if contracts are being awarded, I have the numbers, nearly 2,000 contracts worth about 81,000 crores are being tendered out as we speak. And 57 amounting to 941 crores have been completed according to MOUD. So well begun is half done. Now, what are the challenges? Challenge number one is get the right people at the SPV level. Okay. Challenge number two is manage the politics between the elected municipal corporation and the SPV. And challenge number three is get the PMCs, the program management consultants, get the right bidders, and execute.
What's your view on this execute part? I mean, do you think SPVs and the current political systems that we have, federal systems that we have, with the municipal commissioners actually holding the key to the development, we've got the structure in place for implementation and execution?
Okay. I think good points by Shailesh.
Because, I mean, the biggest grip I've heard is from some of the most outstanding commissioners, like Pune. He was transferred after 1 year. He had to literally beg the PMO and say, keep me back, right? Because I'm not going to be able to execute anything here.
Okay. So let's again look at 2 points from here. One, how Shailesh mentioned about the governance part and the structure. So let me put a perspective that SPVs, while they were formed, I think there's one thing which is completely missing is the board. The power of board, it's a public limited company end of the day. The power of board is not being utilized in this. The board gives the strategic direction, and hence the SPVs are still working in an extension arm of the municipal corporation, and that's the biggest worry today.
So that is a worry.
That's a worry.
Yes.
We have that the board needs to be constituted. Board needs to strengthen. Independent directors needs to take the positions. All those things needs to happen. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is the technical capacity. We have the
human capacity by technical capacity,
yes. Okay. Technical capacity from the expert pool. From the we still have core infrastructure projects. We have technology projects, but we don't have those people who are at the client place who are delivering those. PMU or PMCs will come and go. They are supposed to design the framework structure and they will leave.
And then move on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the core water sector experts, the infrastructure experts, the real estate, they have to be in the SPV and create that strength inside the SPV. That's what is today missing.
And that, do you think, is the biggest gap? All right, I've got to move on.
Yes, I'll just say that these are in the priority. I'll put board as the first challenge, and the second is on the technical.
Is the technical human capacity constraint? All right, that always has been an issue. Karuna, I was not able to understand. Can you pinpoint what the issue is? You said it could be reimagined or should have been imagined. It's a big missed opportunity. But tell me something very specific on what could have been done to make, let's say, any of our cities like a Barcelona or Rio de Janeiro.
Okay, I won't think that Barcelona or Rio de Janeiro are actually great cities.
Okay, from where we are, I think they are.
Seriously,
okay.
I mean, they've also just deployed, simple solutions here and there and trying to suture those and try to make it look like a fabric of, innovation. But the reason why I said this is, if we had conceived it in a very scientific manner, what are smart cities? Smart cities are perhaps the cities that give good economic opportunities, create jobs, create opportunities for the local homegrown entrepreneurs. Now, if my intention was that, then at a strategic level, I would work very closely with other ministries. Like, the urban ministry would have to necessarily work with the Ministry of Skill Development and Ministry of Labor and Employment.
Okay.
I don't see that happening.
All right.
In the strategic intent itself, we should have articulated this. We talked about not having adequate skilled people. We can address it if we forge partnership with existing HRD ministries and other ministries. All right,
Manit, you said that citizen outcomes are the big question mark here. If you were to evaluate it today and say, is there anything which could have been done differently, or can the government take stock of it and say, all right, we've got 3 more years to go, which could stretch to 4 or 5. As long as we get the outcomes, what would you do differently?
At the end of the day, okay, in any of our cities, number one, a lot of our cities are organically evolved, right? So we carry a lot of history of either, whether it's historical or whether it's got to do with a legacy of old infrastructure, or, our cities weren't built overnight. Now, to take that legacy and take it forward, now the first thing that we need to do in crumbling infrastructure is to provide the simple things, pavements for people to walk on, right? We say NDMC is great, or some other cities, but then they've had payments for the last 60 years. So simple things like pavements,
so you're
crossing
saying,
roads.
So are you saying that in the big picture and the focus on what has to be delivered for a particular area, you're missing out on simple things like have walkable roads and just clean pavements?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We hear statements like pedestrian-free movement of vehicles. I mean, that to me is a bizarre concept. Okay, which means that you're giving all the emphasis to cars to run without, and people are supposed to take either subways or cross. So the intent has to be on the person. It cannot be on the machine.
On the machine. All right, we're going to conclude here. But I think the general gist is done that yes, on statistics, it's looking like a very, very good start to the mission, but it could have been imagined differently. And even now, area-based development does have some positives because you can't start reinventing a whole large city, but it also comes with a lot of boundaries which don't allow it to be passed on to larger number of citizens of a city. Karuna Gopalan, Shailesh Pathak, NSN Murty and Manit Rastogi, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to wrap out saying, well, 70% of new jobs are likely to be created by 2030 in our cities, and the cost of not reviving our cities is enormous. So we can all hope that sooner than later, Smart City Mission will succeed and get it right. Here on Urban Reality, we promise to keep a close track on the progress and all that the government will hit or miss in its goal to revive Indian cities. Goodbye and thanks so much for watching.